So anyway, we're going to be talking a bit here about the exit interviews for the Indiana Fever. So the Chicago Sky ones were interesting. We're going to talk about the Fevers right here. And yeah, so shout out to Ken Swift for aggregating this. And also shout out to all of the journalists who were asking these questions. And we are going to be reacting to these right now. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen the Caitlin Clark one, we're going to take a listen to this answer right now where she is speaking out about some of these stuff.
James and Chloe.
Caitlin, when your head coach came out with a statement today saying she announces all the racism that some people have felt in this league, players, trolls online, all those things, as one of the biggest stars in this league, what are your thoughts on the things not only your teammates have to endure, but just the entire league? And obviously, you've spoken on this before, but just now that your coach and your GM are talking about it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because there are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated. And for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them. So I think continuing to uplift and represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
So in that clip there, obviously she answered it perfectly. She answered in a very similar way to Stephanie White did. She basically said, obviously nothing's right. No one should ever have to deal with this, but these are people are trolls. Let's focus on the positives with the league, which is important. I will say this, is that I don't agree with this asking her about the hate she's received, because I've said it where it's like, I don't think if she has no obligation to speak out about that publicly. At the end of the day, it's her mental health, and if for her own mental health, it's best to not speak out about it. Because we always say it's like, don't platform the trolls, don't platform the trolls, don't platform the trolls. Even though ironically some of the people we refer to as trolls are like verified journalists when it comes to crapping on Caitlin. Like we saw the whole like de-escalation committee thing apparently being a whole thing about race, even though like Lexi Hull and like the joke is that obviously they have the camera down, but like there's also a joke that when Aliyah Boston is looking like she's going to attack the refs, Caitlin Clark goes in to help, and it's like, the joke was like, oh, Caitlin Clark, it was like the roles have changed in the de-escalation committee, but it's like, dude, it makes no difference. Like, it is basketball players. And if you want to make it a thing being like, that it's not if you can't do it. Obviously you can do whatever the hell you want, but it's just in bad faith. And the worst part is a lot of the quote unquote trolls. I've seen like people that are being platformed by the WNBA or are like being followed by these players only spell Caitlin Clark's name with a K to start Caitlin. We know what they're trying to insinuate. Like Jemele Hill, I hope Jemele Hill sticks with this point. But I talked about this in another video where she's talking about how these aren't actually her fans, and we can refer to these people as, I've been calling them the crazies. From the start of the year, I've been calling these people the Caitlin crazies. I don't think these are real fans. And that comes with the territory, and whether it be like the crazies on both sides, there are people that I would consider quote unquote Caitlin crazies that are, again, maybe not in the print media or the quote unquote verified media, but in media there are. So this is what she's talking about, the pain of losing the playoffs.
And let it kind of bother you in a way that is going to drive you through the off season. How's it going to make you work? You got a taste of getting to the playoffs. Obviously we haven't been there since 2016. So I think that's what the message was for us, is like, hey, great, we got the 6th seed. Our goal was to get back to the playoffs, but we probably could have given ourselves a little bit better of a chance to try to get it to a game 3 to give our fans an opportunity to cheer us on here at home. And that's kind of what stunk about it. But next year we're wanting to be a top 4 seed. We believe we can build this place into a championship contender. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to do everything in my power to help this organization get there. But you got to let it, hurt you a little bit and really drive you through it.
I'd be shocked if they're not a top 4 seed next year. I would be absolutely shocked if they're not top 4. what she needs to work on in this Caitlin Clark and what she needs to work on in the offseason.
With all the success you have this season, what do you think you need to work on to take that next step going into your second year next year?
Yeah, I think, like I said after we lost, is, I think there's so many ways that I can continue to get better, and I feel like there were so many ways I could have been even better this year, and that's what gets you going and gets you fired up. And
the funniest part is a lot of people talk about the mid-range shot for her getting better. She literally, I think she almost, she was like this close to pulling it to a game 3 almost entirely from mid-range shots.
I want to continue to keep playing, but at the same time, that's what stinks about the season ending is I felt like we were really starting to find our groove and really play good basketball, and it feels like that's always kind of how your season ends. You feel like you're playing your best basketball, and then it has to come to an end, and it's kind of just who's playing better basketball at that time and who plays a better game. But I think for myself is just, go back and really reflect on the year that you had and all the amazing moments. But I think, just as a point guard and as a leader, there's a lot of areas that I can continue to improve. And, I'm a competitor and somebody that loves to work, so it won't be hard for me to want to get in the gym and to get even better and, get better for my teammates and really know, we're a young group.
Yeah, so she's just talking about getting, in general, and getting better. Caitlin Clark is asked about how she feels being a celebrity. Okay, that's interesting. That is really, really interesting. And we are a little bit slow, so I'll go 1.5 times speed from here. But this is a very interesting question because she's probably one of those least celebrities. Whereas I think Caitlin Clark is going to vanish from the face of the earth for a while.
Celebrity, but you lived in that spotlight really for the last year. What can you kind of describe what that feels like for you since we can't experience that? And then also, what do you kind of expect the next several months quietly to feel like as you'll be able to just live?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like everybody's always watching your every move, no matter what you're doing. And I feel like the best thing that I've tried to live by is to just be the same person that I am off the court, whether I'm, leaving my apartment every single day or whether I'm here sitting in front of all of you. I've tried to approach it in the same exact manner that I can and treat everybody with the same amount of respect that I can, and to try to build really good relationships with people. And obviously some days are going to be tougher than others and some days are going to be amazing. That's just life. And I would give my parents a lot of credit. I feel like I was raised in a way of you want to treat every single person with respect. And I feel like I have a very good feel on, basketball isn't my everything, and that's the way I was raised.
How is she 22 years old? She talks about all this, how is she 22? How do you have this type of, mentality towards life without screwing up? Normally in life, normally this is the way, people start to talk when they're in their, 30s, 40s. Half the time, people look back in their career and, one of their biggest regrets is that they made basketball their life and that they bought into all this stuff, and it's a lot of time when people learn it kind of young that it's bad, the negatives of it, they can kind of learn from mistakes. How do you get this, how do you have this mentality without screwing up? Fair play to her parents. And not only that, fair play to whatever her family, whatever coaches she had in sports growing up. Fair play to all the teachers she had growing up. Fair play to her teammates that she had, the coaches at Iowa, the players she played with at Iowa, and just the people around that team as well. Because how the hell, she's like some pure robot right now. And the fact is that it doesn't seem all the crap, there are very few athletes that could deal with the crap Caitlin Clark has to deal with, but she does it.
Basketball was something I absolutely love to do, but there was a lot of other things I had to have done in my life, whether it was school, whether it was emptying the dishwasher or taking out the trash. I had chores, it stunk. And I think there was just things that my parents really invested in making sure that I was a good person before, basketball or sports. And I just tried to live in that same exact manner as just be a good human. And I think that's what I've tried to, show everybody as well is I try to be the best human I can every day. I try to give people time if I have it, and it can be hard because there are moments where you don't always want to pose for a picture. You just want to go and get your sandwich and eat your lunch. And but I feel very thankful. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I feel very thankful for the relationships I built, the opportunities that I've had, the way people have supported me, and whether it was at Iowa or whether it's now in the WNBA, they have really, supported me and loved watching me play basketball and watching my teams play basketball. So I think it'll definitely be a little bit of an adjustment period for myself, not really, having to do that so much. I woke up yesterday and I'm I don't know what I'm going to really do. So it's going to be nice, though. I think getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do and, not have to sit and I love talking to all of you, but it's going to be nice to not have to sit in front of a microphone, multiple.
I don't think anyone's going to hear from her for about 2 months. So this is Kelsey Mitchell on whether she will re-sign with the Fever.
Christy earlier talked about how important you've been, just especially this year, and with your contract expiring after the season. Would you be interested in re-signing or coming back to the organization?
It's definitely a lot of emotions and thoughts that flow through my mind. I think everything for me is so first. I don't know what I need and what I'm going to do, but I know that when the time comes and the opportunity is right for me to make those decisions, obviously I've always had a home in Indy, so it could potentially be a home for me again. But I think right now the switching dynamic of my family and everything, I gotta do what's best for me. And, that's no hanging my hat on one team or another, but I think it's specifically for me. I gotta be selfish about that process. And when I know, you'll know. So.
That doesn't seem as much relevant as I'm happy for them. Like I think she'll be back. I think she'll be back. I want to see how people respond to that one. Like no one's ever gonna say that. She's gonna test the waters as she should, find her true market value. Like what I'm guessing is that if Indiana don't pay her the full max, she's gone. If Indiana pay her the full max, she's there. That would be my opinion on it. Because again, even if they try to core her, I think if she can get the max somewhere else, I'm pretty sure she has to take the max. They have to match. It's effectively like a restricted free agent. Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler about receiving those comments, which they obviously have, as has everyone on this team, which is horrible. But let's see what the answer to this question is.
The time after the break, it got better. So the future is very bright for those two.
Dana, then we'll go Scott on the left.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Alyssa Thomas's comments and if you've seen any of that firsthand.
No, what was comments?
Oh, Alyssa Thomas came out and said that the Fever fan base was racist.
That is the single best response I have heard from a player, and it was by Erica Wheeler right there. Wait, what were the comments? I think that is the perfect response from Wheeler. Like, it shows that this team, it was all just about basketball. It's like, we just do not see social media. We don't see any of this stuff. That it's all like, this is going to be a distraction. We are a team. And that's why even with Alyssa Smith, when Alyssa Smith came out, the first thing she did was she thanked her teammates for helping her get through the year. This team seems like, I don't think there are any bad people on this team. And that's the one thing I will say is like they fully bought into, we need to just make the main thing and forget about everything else. So listen to what she said.
I mean, we can't control what someone else says. For the more
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization within our people. And that, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No matter what color you are, whatever you carry or possess. I think for us, we focus on the basketball part. And I think that she may have had experience that we may or may not know on her own. But I don't think that that should be labeled on us 12 or our who we try to represent for ourselves. And so I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with us.
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, we don't condone any of those things. For the more eyes been on us since C got drafted. So for us, our ears been blocked out longer than most people, if that makes any sense. So like I've said a comment before, it's a lot of things that try to come in this building and to pull us apart that we just didn't let. However, we probably got it too. We just don't care about it because what's important is this organization and us winning games, and that's what we did. So, but for the most part, we don't condone that. I don't care about it because there's a fan who probably sitting on the couch doing nothing, so I don't care.
Like, that is this team, however they dealt with it, and that's the one thing I'll always give Chrissy Sides credit for, is I think Chrissy Sides was very, very good at getting the culture right. I think Chrissy Sides did a really good job getting the culture right. And you can see Erica Wheeler's reaction. This is a reaction of two people that don't see any of it. Like, you can tell their confusion. They're like, we just don't care. Like, these are trolls. Like, I genuinely think that, one, they're seeing the fans in person. So it's probably a little bit different from their perspective when they're in person and they're seeing 99% of the fans being so positive, cheering and everything, looking for their autographs and all of this stuff. So it's probably different from their perspective than another team that maybe sees those fans twice a year. And then they just see 90% of it on social media. But yeah, I think very much this team obviously had meetings earlier on in the year about all this stuff. And this team is like, as far as quote unquote professionalism goes, there are teams that I would consider like really good in that regard as far as the WNBA is concerned. I think the Liberty, the Lynx, the Fever, as far as professionalism. And I won't say the Aces. Again, they've tried to freaking cheat the win for years. But trending up top, mate, the Sparks as well. The Sparks didn't deal with any of that crap, didn't buy into that crap. The Mystics didn't buy into that crap. It really is just... And I think the teams... The Sun, in fairness, Alyssa Thomas just said that. I think the Sun have, in general, been as professional as can be the vast majority of the time. I think Alyssa Thomas just made a statement. And to be fair, actually, no. Dejanay has Twitter fingers. But in general, like, I do feel like the teams that struggled for struggled with the social media were the ones that let it dictate their season. As in, I think the Chicago Sky, whether it be Angel Reese, whether it be Kennedy Carter, whether it be Dana Evans, Izzy Harrison, I think they let social media control their season, which hopefully it's a learning experience not only for that team but for the rest of the league. So Aliyah Boston was asked about it. Is this the last post? Yeah. Let's take a listen to this, and then we are going to finish the video.
I was wondering
there.
your thoughts on the Alyssa Thomas comments and if you've witnessed any of that firsthand inside Cambridge.
Yeah, I mean, AT's comments were, it's hard to hear, but it's also the truth in some way. I mean, I wouldn't put everything on Fever fans, but I mean, just overall on social media, I mean, there has been so much hate spread, and even being on this team, like to start the season, I was at the other end of those hate comments. I was at the other end of every single thing that's to come. They say they support the Fever and everything like that, but I mean, they just said everything under the earth, and it wasn't nice. And I feel like that was a big reason as to why I took a break from social media. And at the same time, it's like now that the tables have turned and we started winning games and I started doing better in their opinion, then all of a sudden it was like love comments and oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. And honestly, it's hard as a player because every single night we come out here, we're not performing for what you guys think. We are coming out here to do the best that we can to compete every single night. And it's kind of hard, but that's why for us, it's about focusing about the 12 in the locker room. It's about focusing what's important there, keeping those priorities straight. Because if you worry about every single thing that happens on the outside, it's kind of hard to win games, and that's exactly what we want to do. But a big part of it too is the storylines that come out. Like I feel like the media plays a big role in what other people think, whether they watch the game or not. Sometimes people aren't even watching the games; they're just looking at storylines, headlines that come out, and they're running off of that. And it's easy to attach yourself to the Fever because we have a lot of attention around us right now. And it's so easy to say, "Well, I'm a Fever fan, I'm an AB fan, I'm a Caitlin fan," and just dispute hate off of that. And that's never okay. I feel like no matter who you are, what team you play for,
Okay.
Is this like whoever the heck? Like this is a group of players. Like, no matter what happens in Caitlin Clark's career, I'm not sure there's going to be a much more likable team than this 2024 Fever team. Whether it be Erica Wheeler, whether it be Aliyah Boston. But she's on the money. She basically said what Gilbert Arenas said, where it's like, they hate you when you're at the big market. They hate you when things are going bad. They love you as things are going well. And there is no player that is summed up more than Aliyah Boston with how bad she started the year and how great she was after about 10 games. So, yeah, that is an important thing as well. But yeah, so that is an interesting one. It did seem like a lot of talk was about some of the outside stuff for the exit interviews. But I do also feel like a really important part that has kind of gone under the radar is that this team is very, very much together. They are together, and that is their goal, is that they are like, regardless of what's happening on social media, that we are a team. We're focusing on winning as a team. We don't care about anything else. Everything is like tight-knit group, which is what a lot of NBA teams have had to do to win. Which is what a lot of these teams do to win. And it is like in the messiest league in the world, outside of Nalissa Smith by association with Carrington and stuff that her brother says, nothing through by herself. It has probably been, they probably put out so many flames by just not going on social media. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.